Okay, YouTubers, back again for another video. And this one is the continuing series of my Into the Book series. And this one here is going to be a modern book, but it's a reprint of a Silver Age book. So get ready to be entertained. And as we go into Marvel Milestone Edition, this is the X-Men #1. It's a reprinted story of the X-Men from 1963. So we're going to go into the book. I'm going to take both hands, and as we open up the book, we see the panel up there is Professor Xavier. He's calling out, even though we don't see his lips move, but he's calling out, letting them know that he's Professor X. But at first he says this is Professor Xavier, and then he says Professor X. And he tells them that class is now in session. Tardiness will be punished. So here comes 4 of the X-Men: Cyclops, the Angel, Iceman, and the Beast. They come in and they make sure that Professor Xavier is nice and comfy. And then they proceed to have a little horsing around for a few panels, and then it's the first is the Beast to do his training. He does his, and then Angel is chosen second. And he comes through his. And then the Iceman. And then Cyclops. And this is the first time that Cyclops shows what's his eye beams behind the visor, his optic blast. Cyclops picks on Beast first, saying, "You're the oldest, so you're first." And he gets him against the wall. Then he goes after Iceman's block of ice, and he crashes through it, and he gets Iceman. And then Professor Xavier tells them enough, the lesson is over. And they're all 4 kind of just like they've been bowled over or something, just stopped them cold. And then the professor tells them of the young lady, which in this panel over here, get to see the first appearance of Jean Grey. This is the first meeting between Jean Grey and Professor Xavier. And then all 4 of the other X-Men are introduced by their name: Hank McCoy, Bobby Drake, Warren Worthington III, and Slim Summers, even though later on it became Scott Summers, but in this one it's Slim Summers. And then they all are kind of flirtatious with Jean, and then they want to figure out what kind of extraordinary power she has, and she shows them what she can do. Telekinesis is her power. So he tells Jean basically in a short version of what they do there at the school. And he says, now I leave you to get to know each other better. And Hank says, let me be the first to welcome you to the X-Men Beautiful, and lays a kiss on her cheek, and she puts him up into the ceiling and then puts him down to the couch. And then we get the introduction to Magneto. And this first panel is the first time we see Magneto, and he is plotting against the human race. Because he says the human race no longer deserves dominance over the planet Earth. The day of the mutants is upon us. And he's watching as a rocket is tested. And it shows Magneto using his power to redirect the rocket and making it crash and explode. So the soldiers are mystified of what happened to their rocket. And they want to beef up their security. That's not that's not going to work, as we find out. 6 top secret launching fails at sea. So they're there waiting. The guns are magnetic, so you see them shaking, and then there's bullets going after around them, and then a big tank comes after them, and then in the sky, this reminds me of when the witch told Dorothy to surrender. It's the same thing. It says, surrender the base or I'll take it by force, Magneto. And he says, Magneto, who? What is Magneto? And he says, General, what does it mean? Is someone playing a grim prank? You saw that machine gun, that tank rampaging out of control. This is no joke, Colonel. So Magneto increases his power, launches a rocket out of the storage area, and has it explode into the water. And then he comes on to the base like he owns the place, and he knocks the MPs out of the way like they're bowling pins. He makes his stand of what he intends to do. He introduces himself, the miraculous Magneto, claimed this entire installation in the name of Hamal Superior. And they try to take him by force, and he's like, that fence, as you call it, is the symbol of my great power. It is a mighty shield of magnetic energy. So it cuts away. We see Marvel Girl with her uniform, and she's being no privacy. All the guys are watching her admire herself. And while this is going on, Professor Xavier telepathically tells them that they report to the study. They have 15 seconds. No excuses will be tolerated. So they all go to where he's at exactly 15 seconds later. So he tells them the crisis of going on at the base, and they get ready to go into action. So when they get into their uniforms, they leave by the professor's Rolls Royce. Yeah, Rolls Royce. Yeah. And they take a plane to Florida. And when they get there, they find out that they're trying to fire on Magneto's force field, and there's just no way. So they meet the X-Men for the first time, and Scott tells them that I respectfully request you to hold your fire for 15 minutes while my partners and I go into action. All right, we've nothing to lose, but I feel like a danged fool. You won't regret it, sir. X-Men attack. So we see the X-Men first time going up against Magneto. And this one here, wow. Scott goes maximum power against his force field, and Magneto feels it. He says, some power is attacking me, some power as superhuman as my own. And Scott knocks himself out because he used all that power like he did. And then Magneto sees who he's up against. So he launches Hunter missiles at them. There's covered Amazing Spider-Man number 4. And then Angel and the team up of Angel and Iceman take out 3 of the missiles. And then the Beast helps the Angel take out the final one. And Magneto is impressed. He says, but despite their seeming youth and inexperience, they are mighty antagonists. I might never again make the mistake of underestimating them, but I shall still prove to be their master. And then he says, the Angel says, there he is. I found him. X-Men attack. Wrong, you flying fool. It is I, Magneto, who have found you. And they go and have the first battle. Well, the second battle, technically. He uses the rocket fuel at them. Iceman shields them. He thinks he has gotten them with the rocket fuel, but then they come out from underground. Magneto uses his force field again and takes off. And the general says that uncanning, uses that word, uncanning, your 15 minutes are not yet up. He says, you call yourselves the X-Men. I will not ask you to reveal your true identities, but I promise you that before this day is over, the name X-Men will be most honored in my command. Thank you, sir, and should America's security ever again be threatened, the X-Men will be back. And there you have it. Issue 1 of the X-Men. So that is going to do it for this particular edition of Into the Book. I have plans for the 2017 to do more bronze books. I'm going to do it twice a month. That's the schedule. I'm going to try to keep 2. So hopefully I bring some entertaining books and we'll go inside and look into the books. So until next time, this is Liking the Covers. Hope you come back. Hope you enjoy. And see you for the next installment.